Iran's new Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei, issued his first public statement since the U.S. and Israel launched strikes on the country. The son of the late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said in a written statement that Iran would continue blocking the Strait of Hormuz as economic retaliation for the war. Mojtaba Khamenei has not been seen in public since the conflict began on February 28th. CBS News recently learned he was injured in the same strike that killed his father. State TV presenters read out Khamenei's statement today, further fueling speculation about the extent of his injuries. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor joins me now. So what did you make of the Supreme Leader's statement, and how serious potentially are his injuries if he didn't make it himself?
Yeah, Lindsay, that is the question. It definitely fuels the speculation that he was injured in the same attack that killed his father. This statement was read on TV. It was a pretty threatening statement, not backing down from Iran's position in the war, and also making it a point to say that the Strait of Hormuz should be still considered closed. That is, I do want to mention it because it is Iran's biggest leverage point, it seems, at the moment, because it is so crucial as a choke point for much of the world's oil. About 20% of the world's oil normally flows through there. And since this conflict began, the traffic through there has dropped precipitously. And there are reports from maritime security firms that ships are being targeted. The Strait of Hormuz, if Iran were to leverage it further, could begin to lay mines, which is why you've seen in releases by U.S. Central Command, by the forces in the Middle East, that they're now targeting Iran's mine-laying ships and mine-laying storage facilities so that the Supreme Leader's goal of keeping that strait closed does not succeed for too long.
This may be a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If Iran does, in fact, lay these mines, their own ships wouldn't be able to get through, right? And they're currently the only ones making money on transporting oil.
That's right, but they could make it a point to get the most hurt from their adversaries. You know, the U.S. has different contingencies that it needs to account for. Right now, this is kind of, from what we're seeing, Iran's all in. The thing about the mines, though, is Iran does risk its own stopping its own flow of oil, but the risk is also, if this conflict ends, it could take months to fully clear that strait, and then it's a disadvantage for everyone who wants oil to flow through there, including Iran.
Are your sources telling you their surprise level that Iran is all in? Do they think at this time, at this point, with the administration's threats, that they would have backed down?
I don't think so. I think this was to be expected. I think what was not expected by Iran, at least according to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and by Secretary Hegseth, is that the Gulf allies would participate now and in their own defense. Now that Iran has decided not to only attack U.S. bases, but to also go after civilian targets in the allies of the U.S., I think that has been more of a surprise, not only to the U.S. that they would do that, but also to Iran that wouldn't stop the conflict faster.
Eleanor, thank you. CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman joins us now. Willie, what's the White House saying about the Supreme Leader's statement?
Hey there, Lindsay. We've reached out to the White House a couple of times today asking for a response from the Supreme Leader. If the president or an official has a response, we haven't heard back just yet. But the president, just about an hour ago, spoke about Iran during a Women's History event here at the White House. The First Lady was there, other officials included. The president said that Iran is a nation of terror and hate, and they're paying a big price right now. Remember, the president has said that he should be involved somehow in terms of choosing Iran's next leader, essentially saying that he wants someone of peace who can bring peace to the region that doesn't hold the status quo from the previous Supreme Leader. We, of course, know that Iran has chosen to tap the former Supreme Leader, the late Supreme Leader's son, to lead that nation. But in terms of a response from the White House, not quite yet, but still the president pushing forward with this conflict and doubling down in terms of his own rhetoric and his own messaging in terms of justifying this conflict that has really been going on for about a couple weeks now.
What is the administration saying right now about rising gas prices?
Yeah, and that's certainly something that we've been talking about on our air, those rising gas prices, in large part in response to the rising oil prices. The president and other officials have been telegraphing tapping the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, some 172 million barrels of oil that will be taken out and put on the global market, in large part to help tamp down some of those prices. That will happen over 120 days or so. So it's unclear how soon consumers could feel that at home. The president earlier today posted on Truth Social seeking to justify the reasons why the conflict is happening. He said on Truth Social, the United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. So when oil prices go up, we make a lot of money, the president says. He then goes on to say, but of far greater interest and importance to me as president is stopping an evil empire, Iran, from having nuclear weapons and destroying the Middle East and indeed the world. So the president looking to say that it's more important now for the time being to take out Iran's nuclear capability, to take out their ballistic missile program, although consumers at home are seeing some of those higher prices in large part due to some of the tensions in the region and the cutting off of those oil resources coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. Lindsay.
Willie, James Inman, thank you.